Welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Your host, Jill Hart, the Coach's Alchemist. Couldn't be more excited to have you join us today. On this podcast, we celebrate the champions of change, the up-and-coming life, health and transformational coaches who are fearlessly stepping forward to make a difference in the world. Get ready for inspiring stories, practical tips, and powerful moments that will motivate you to make a positive change in your life and those around you. We're happy to have you join us on this incredible journey as we dive into the world of life, health, and transformational coaches who are lighting up the path towards a better tomorrow.
Welcome to the New World Order Showcase podcast. Today we are speaking with Sue Kennedy. She is from the Author Academy, and she is going to tell us how her darkest moments turned into her most successful business, where she now empowers others to achieve their dream of becoming an author. So welcome to the show, Sue, and I'm really excited to hear this story and how you help people become authors.
Thank you so much, Jill, for having me. It's an absolute pleasure to be here, all the way from the other side of the world.
Traveling back to visit with us.
Yes. So thank you again, yes, for having me. So, it started quite a few years ago now, and it was from the darkest moment in my life, which is where I'd lost everything. And pretty much, the house, the husband, the dog, you name it, everything came crumbling down, and I fell into a very dark, deep depression, which I didn't realize was going on at the time because, it wasn't really talked about as much as it is these days. So in a way, it's a good thing that we do talk about it now because it was kind of like a silent killer back then. And because we didn't talk about it. So, it was quite horrible when I realised, because I considered suicide. It was that bad. And it was because of my dogs. I mean, I still have one of them. I only just recently lost the other, that actually pulled me out of it. Like they realised something was wrong, and just like with their paw was sort of like going, hey, and that's what snapped me out of it. So I'm very grateful for them, because I wouldn't be here today otherwise. And from that, I did some research to find out, well, what actually is going on with myself. And so I did a heap of research, and then mainly to heal myself. And then I went, this actually could turn into a book, and then I can help a lot of other people as well. So why not do that? And so that's what I did. I actually then ended up turning that into a book, and pardon me, and from that I wrote a heap of other books as well. And I didn't have like a book coach like what I do back then. There was no such thing. So I would have been very grateful to have someone like me to help me and hold my hand through the whole process, because it was quite a lengthy, long process. It still can be, but at least, I'm there to help guide someone now, as far, instead of having to do it all on your own and wondering whether you're doing it properly or not. So
all the mistakes that come along with that process.
Exactly. And, like, is this the right way to do it? Is it not the right way to do it? And to be able to just talk about things with people, and with someone to brainstorm, because you come up against blocks along the way, and it's good to be able to have someone to be able to bounce those ideas off. So that's why from that I wrote another, I don't know how many books after that. I've got over 10 at the moment, and working, of course, eventually on more. But from that, I actually turned it into a business where now I actually am a book coach and help other people go through the same process and get their books written, so that they can not only heal themselves, but help heal others, because your story will resonate with someone else and will actually help them.
I firmly believe we're all here to share our mission, and our mess is our message, and it's really great. I've written a book before, and it was just a really small book that I had written for a specific purpose. But I understand, and I didn't have a book publisher, and I just self-published on Amazon, and I could have used somebody like you to say, just do it this way. And I looked all over for, somebody to edit it for me. And it was just, it's really a nightmare when you're just trying to figure it out on your own. And it wasn't, I know that there are people that create books or have stories in them that they want to tell, but they really just don't have any idea how to get it all together. And when you're staring at that blank sheet of paper or your blank computer screen now,
Yeah.
it's hard to get started. And so you help people with that actual process of getting started, or do you
Yeah.
take them from they already have an idea?
Either is fine. So it's whether you've got an idea and you're not sure if that's going to work. I mean, a lot of people come to me and go, right, this is what I want to write about. So we start working on that. And then a little way in, they go, I don't think this is what I should be writing about. So then we have a chat, and then all of a sudden the real book or real story comes to the forefront, and they get this, this is it. We get this huge aha. And so then we just, go down that road, and that there's nothing wrong with that. The story that they started might be a part of that. It may just go sit on the shelf for good or for later. It's, it doesn't really matter. So, and then there's people that have no idea, don't even know, they know they've got this urge to write their story or a story, but don't know where to start. So we have a discussion and we work it out and go from there and then get it written. And so we go from the very beginning all the way through to my packages actually include me coaching, but also proofreading and editing the design and layout of the book, and then also printed copies of the book. So it's all included in it. I mean, I do it without, but usually it's like crazy. Why wouldn't you take, the whole package?
Heck yeah.
It's all done and dusted for you. You don't have to worry about, now I have to go over here or I have to go there. So, yeah.
It was I have to go over here and I have to go over there. And why won't this image work properly for me? And, it's 2 pages, not just one for the cover. And it's all backwards. It's like time. It's so much time just figuring stuff out. So yeah, I don't know why anybody wouldn't just go with the whole package. So when it comes to publishing, do you actually help them get it published? Are you a publishing company?
Yes. So we do that as well. Well, I'm not a traditional publisher in the sense of, where we then sell it for you, and I'm not that kind of publisher. They're actually quite difficult to find and get into, actually. I don't know, I think they'll still be around, but I think they are kind of a dying breed because of the likes of Amazon and all those places. But then, you put it on Amazon, you're just another product to them. So, it gets put on there and it just sits there unless you tell people it's there. Because Amazon they don't
promote anything.
No. And I mean, imagine if they promoted everything they had in their store. I mean, it would be a huge undertaking.
That's what they have affiliates for. Amazon built their business with affiliates, and the reason it blew up is because they had all these people out there selling their products for them, so they didn't have to.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, imagine if they did have to. Imagine how many people they'd have to employ to do that.
Yeah.
Huge.
That's, when people talk about affiliates these days, and it's just like, it really did hit me that that's how Amazon got so big, because they had hundreds of thousands of people selling their products for them. Now it's pretty poor commission, but before they used to pay like 10% on some things. So
Mm.
they were able to drive what things were being sold by the commission structure that they were offering. It's kind of it was a really interesting business model to me. But
Mm.
yeah, and when it comes to book publishing, they started out in book sales. Kind of interesting. They've gone full circle now. They publish them for you,
Yeah. Yeah.
but don't promote them. So,
No, yeah. Funny that, isn't it? Anyway.
do you promote the books that are published with you, or kind
Yes,
of?
I do. And I've also got an online bookstore,
Mhm.
and I put their books on my bookstore as well, where we promote and get it out there. I mean, the authors have to actually promote it as well. We can't do all of it because, that, as they say, many hands make light work. So the more that people, everyone puts their little bit in towards it, the more successful it will be.
I like podcasting, and I know you have a podcast also,
I
which
do.
tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah,
The
it's
Full
called
of Words podcast.
Yeah, it's called Full of Words. So I actually I always wanted to do a podcast on my own. And then I just went, it'd be so much more fun with someone else. And so I met my co-host, who is CJ, Catherine James, and she's a copywriter. And so because, book coach, copywriter, we thought, that they're pretty good together. So we talk all about words and the power of words and language and how that's, affects you, in your life and business and everything. So yeah, we have an episode every week. Sometimes it's just us talking, but we also have guests on. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, and we really enjoy it.
That's really interesting. I love words also. They they enrich your life. The bigger your vocabulary, the bigger your thoughts can be. It's
Yeah.
kind of like magic, but when you have a really limited vocabulary, you have limited options in your life because you don't have anything to conceptualize the larger opportunities that exist for you. And my kids and I used to like to find obscure words.
I love it. Yeah, I remember when I was younger, I always used to, go, right, I'm gonna get a word of the month and just, run with that and try and upskill myself. This was when I was a teenager or something, and I
Mhm.
thought, that'll just add to, my vocabulary, and it'll be fun, and then I'd find interesting ways to use the word. It was good fun.
It is good fun. My daughter found a word called pogonip, which is it's a kind of frost, and we have pogonip around here, but it makes crystals on the limbs, like the tree limbs. It's
Oh,
frost, but kind of like ice frost,
yep, yep.
um, instead of just like fog. Um, and it's kind of a combination of the two. So
Oh, I love
it's always
that.
fun to remember that when it happens. And then I remember the conversation that we had together when she was telling me about the word.
Oh,
And
that's
then
so
I
nice.
looked up words for evil.
Oh, okay.
Fascinoris is one of them.
What is it? Fascinoris.
Fascinoris. I used to
Fascinoris.
call Fauci Fascinoris Fauci.
Okay.
Just my personal thing. I was trying to come up with a different word than I think the man is insanely evil, but that's my opinion.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Well, it's a bit
just
nicer than
talking about words.
yeah, it's a bit yeah, it's a nicer way of saying it than evil, isn't it? So,
Mm,
but unless
yeah,
of course someone knows what it means, but it just sounds nicer.
yeah. It's just like it's a title.
Mm.
Unless you want to go look it up, most people won't.
No, no, I would guess not. Oh,
Words are fun though.
they
So
are.
how do you find people? How do you have like a 5-step method, or is that how you what you're doing?
Yes, so my coaching program is a 5-step method. And of course it's the, usual of we work out what the outline is and we, get all the chapters lined up and worked out. Now, they don't necessarily have to stay in that order, and you don't have to write them in that order. Whenever I've written my books, I wake up in the morning and go, now, what do I feel like writing about today? And that's what I generally write about. I found, for me anyway, that was a lot easier than trying to force myself to go, right, I'm up to chapter 3. I now need to write about chapter 3, and then go, just don't want to write about chapter 3 today. So, if I feel like writing about chapter 8, then I write about chapter 8. There's nothing wrong with that. So we go through that, and then, of course, all the other, making sure it flows and all that kind of stuff. And then I also, because I'm actually an art therapist as well, and I love doing my art. I do intuitive art and a thing called neurographic art, which I've just brought into the mix as a tool, because I find, and I love, because I love art, I'm like, what do I do? Do I do the art? Do I do the writing? And then I went, why not do both? Combine the two. So that's what I've done. So the art component of the coaching is when you get blocked, it helps you unblock, but it's also a healing tool as well. So if you are bumping up against something that's a bit, not so comfortable, we can then do a process on that and get you through it. And we don't make you relive anything. It's all nice and gentle. And I just love it because I've used it on myself and of course others. And I find it, just amazing. So I do that. And then, of course, the other parts, as I've already mentioned, we proofread, do a professional proofread and edit. We design and do the outline of it. And we also give you printed copies of the book. And I also have a professional copywriter, who is CJ, my co-host, who does the copywriting or the sales blurb for the back cover of your book, which is really important.
Yes, it's very important, as is the cover and the content.
Exactly. Well, I mean, the cover's the first thing. Then when someone looks at a book, the first thing they see is the cover. The next thing is the back. And then, to me, if the first page gets me in, I then read all that, open the first page, and if that first page gets me in, I will generally buy the book. If I don't get pulled in on that first page, I'm not interested. But that's me. But there are a lot of people like that. So you have got to grab the audience, your readers, straight away, so that you get them in.
I imagine that's more important now than ever before, because people's attention span is so short, and getting them to read anything is difficult.
Yes. There's just so much information out there now. I agree. It's, I find that, even though you've got, so much information, like, for instance, I have I'm part owner of a printing company, and, for books, and the information on that website, there is just so much information. Like, we pretty much tell them how to do it, apart from the printing, like to set it up, to do this, that, and the other. And we still get people going, how do you do this? And it's like, well, it's on the website. And it's because people just don't have the time to read the information, or just would prefer to speak to someone. There are different reasons, but I think a lot of it is time. Like, I know I like to have things in small snippets. I tend to look at that more, only because of how busy I am. If you weren't so busy, but of course, when you're working with your clients, it's a different story. But when you're looking at, other pieces of information, you try and grab it in little chunks. We don't have time to read pages and pages. Like, the old sales letters they used to do, those long form sales letters, they would go on for like 10 pages.
Yeah, you just can't do that anymore, and you have to break it up, and you can have long form sales letters, but Man, there's got to be some really good copywriting going on to get people to go through them. Otherwise, they're like, they're scrolling. I'm out of here.
Yeah, exactly. I think they still do it. And then they reckon it still works. But yeah, I think unless you're really, really interested in that particular service or product, you won't read it all.
No, and again, you got to hook them right in the very beginning. That you got to tell them why they need to do whatever it is that you want them to do, and they have
Exactly.
to have that value themselves.
Exactly. But it's the same as in a book. You need to hook them in straight away, but you've got to keep that hook happening throughout, because if you stop after that first one, you'll lose the reader and they won't finish the book, and of course they won't recommend your book to anyone. So it's very important that you keep that flow happening and keeping it interesting all the way to the end, and with them wanting more.
Yeah, yeah. I've been an avid reader most of my life. And lately I read Where the Crawdads Sing. Actually, it's been a few years. I thought that book was really interesting in that it kept you on the edge all the way to the last page. I thought it was really masterfully done.
Wow, I have heard of it, but I haven't read it yet.
Oh,
Yeah, I have
it's
to.
so good.
I have heard
Just
that it's very good.
the descriptions are great. You're not really sure about some of the things all the way through the book, and you really do not know what happened until the very last page. It
Wow,
it,
yeah, that's good.
it was really good, and it sucks you in the beginning and spits you out at the end.
But keeps you to the end, so that's good. That's what you
Yeah,
want.
it
Want
is what
more.
you want. I've seen a few authors do it over the years, and they're usually, we used to call them page turners. You just aren't going to put that book down until you're done with it because you just have to know what happens next.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I've heard of people, the books are that good that they've got the book in one hand and they're cooking dinner with the other because they can't put it down. So that's a good book.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe I don't know how dinner turns out, but anyway, that's okay.
I used to be like that. We didn't have television when I was growing up because we lived overseas, and it was just like a bother to get TV, and it would be in a foreign language anyway, and we didn't understand it. So we read a lot. And I would take the trains to school, but I'd go through the train stations reading my book. It's just like you wander through. I lived in Japan, so everybody kind of just like you got in the lane and the crowd just pushed you to your train, and you got on the train and you could still read.
Yeah. It's because everyone did it. Yeah, it was safe. Yeah.
Yeah, in those days. I don't know what it's like now, but that was like
No,
that then. So, you do have a 30-day writing challenge that you offer people, and how can they get a hold of that? What is it, and how can they get
I
get it?
do have, so I do have a page that people can go to where there's a few different free gifts, and it's
Mhm.
authoracademy.com.au/gifts, so GIFTS. And there, as I say, yeah, there's a few, and the 30-day writing challenge is on there. That's one of them. And so pretty much what happens is when you sign up for it, and they're all free, as I say, you just have to pop your email in, and every day for 30 days, what happens is you get an email, and it's an image. You have to look at the image for 5 minutes and then put a timer on and then write for 15 minutes about that image. And it's really, really fun, and it really helps with unblocking your story, because or the writing block that you have, because you're just looking at the image and then all of a sudden all kinds of stuff come to you and you just start writing. It's great. It's a really great tool. A lot of people have said to me they have really enjoyed it and it's helped them.
That sounds like a lot of fun. probably going to sign up to
Yeah, it does.
because it just sounds like fun.
It's fun.
Kind of sharpens your writing skills too, I'm sure.
It does.
So, what's the one thing you want the audience to take away from our conversation today?
I just want the audience to stop and think about their story, and the fact that it will not only help you to write about your story, but just remember that there are going to be people out there that your story is going to help and heal. And to me, that is the biggest blessing that you could give anyone, is to know that, on some level you've helped them. And I think if you keep that in mind and get your story written so you can help others, would be just beautiful.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you joining us today, Sue.
Thank you, Jill, so much for having me. It's been an absolute...
Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the You World Order Showcase podcast. We hope you've enjoyed hearing from our incredible life, health, and transformational coaches who are making a profound impact on the world. Remember, change begins with you, and you have the power to transform your life and the lives of others. If you want to take that next step and unlock your true potential, visit thecoachesalchemist.com, where you can find the 3 ways we can help you for free to spin your talent into gold with clarity, a system, and a plan. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an inspiring episode. And if you enjoyed today's show, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback means the world to us and helps us reach more people with our positive message. Stay connected with us on social media for updates, behind-the-scenes content, and upcoming guest announcements. You can find us on Facebook at the You World Order, or simply visit thecoachesalchemist.com.